And I apologize for that.
Did you call your attorney and say you couldn't make it?
But again, I don't know why it's coming up with that. And I didn't have access any of those days to alcohol or have them in my possession at a no drinking facility. So honestly, I'm telling you, I don't have access to
I'm going to tell you, I'm not believing what she's telling. I just don't think she's going to do what anybody asked her to do.
I can assure you I'll be here on the 1st. I will.
You're just not following through. You don't do what you don't want to do. Well, it doesn't work that way. But at this time, defendant's bond is revoked.
This girl named Brett walked right into Judge Simpson's courtroom, already acting like she was asking for trouble from the very beginning. She's out of jail for now because she had some serious problems with drugs and other substances. But instead of doing what the court told her to do, she messed around with her ankle monitor, and then she got caught drinking alcohol too. And of course, she says she didn't do anything wrong, like she's the only one in the whole room who can't see what's really going on here. The big problem is, if you lie in Judge Simpson's courtroom, you're basically asking him to send you straight back to jail. He doesn't joke around or play games with lies, especially when being out of jail is supposed to be all about trust and following the rules. The whole situation is just a big messy disaster. And watching her try to talk her way out of trouble is honestly kind of sad and hard to watch. So, tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you think Judge Simpson was being too mean to her, or was he just doing exactly what needed to be done? Let's jump right in and see what really happened.
We are here for PCC and bond violation. I understand the court has received and reviewed the materials that were sent over yesterday.
I did.
Thank you, Your Honor. The only request that we would have when we're discussing those materials, she is staying in a shelter in Livingston County. There is a separate DV having nothing to do with any of this, and there are some cross allegations in that case. So she's just requesting that we not say the name of the shelter if someone is listening on Zoom to where she's staying.
Understood.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe that the materials that we provided were pretty thorough in terms of where Ms. Brown has been coming from and what her circumstances are in pertaining to the bond violation. So I was wondering if the court had any questions.
Well, I do, because I'm not sure how you provided the materials, but I'm not sure how that relates to the specific allegations of the bond violation. Because what I have, certainly, maybe one might be able to look at the consumption of alcohol, but there was a tampering that occurred for a 12-hour period.
So I am going to let Ms. Brown address that herself with the court. You can explain to him where you're at in terms of the allegation of I had forwarded her the reports the same day. And just so that Your Honor knows, she did intend to turn herself into the jail this morning, but she was unable to get a ride this morning. And so she's here for in-person court this afternoon. So regarding the tamper on 6/23 and then the positive on 6/25, the court is looking for either an explanation or an admission as to these two.
Your Honor, I don't have any clue why those were coming up that way. I know that I was called in to community corrections to have my unit replaced for servicing. And when on my way there, Ms. Julian called me and said that she received a notification from courts that I had a tampering and violation that she would, wanted clarification about. And I had no idea what she was talking about. I told her that I was just called in to do a replacement on the unit itself. I have only been at La Casa AA meetings and with AA people because I don't currently have transportation and a license to get myself to and from these places. And I have not had access or been in the environments of drinking whatsoever. The only events outside of AA are AA events that I've been to, such as there was a sober rave in Royal Oak that I had gone to, but that wasn't even in the dates in question. So I'll stop with that. But I was completely confused. So I had the unit replaced. And while at community corrections, they had told me that I had this tampering and violation 2 counts. And I was in for my reading the week before during this time. And they said that I was all set, good to go. We'll see you next week. And so I was really unsure why I was getting that unless it was due to needing servicing. But I've saying, Your Honor, this is way too important.
Well, hold on a second. Just so that we're clear before you go on with your story.
Okay.
on June 23rd at the 12:56 a.m. time,
Yes, sir.
that's when the tamper is detected
Okay.
with the unit. On the 25th, there isn't a tamper, it's just drinking.
Again, I don't know why it's coming up with that unless the servicing part of it needed it. Because at the shelter where I'm currently residing, there's a locked door policy from 11:30 p.m. until 7 in the morning. And I didn't have access any of those days to alcohol or have them in my possession at a no drinking facility. And I was at the facility at both of those times.
I'm really not believing this girl's story right now. Like, she's acting like it's totally impossible to sneak alcohol into a shelter, but we all know that's just not true at all. This place isn't some super locked up prison. It's just a shelter with rules that people break and bend almost every single day. And the way she talks, it's like she thinks she was living in a castle where bad stuff magically can't get in or happen. I mean, seriously. People have been sneaking alcohol into way stricter places for years. And here's the part that really makes no sense. Her whole excuse is based on the idea that it couldn't have happened, which isn't even a real defense when you think about it. Right now, she's not making herself look honest. She's actually making things worse with every new excuse she throws out there. And the sad thing is Judge Simpson is still giving her a chance to speak and explain, but she's just wasting it all by saying stuff that's half true or just plain denial. I mean, I'm not saying she's 100% guilty, but she really doesn't have any strong points to help her case right now. And when things are already looking bad for you, weak excuses only make it worse and push you down. But tell me in the comments below, do you think she's making it all up, or is she just super unlucky this time?
Documented on camera, I believe they have at the shelter, as well as my sign in and out sheet, and documentation from the shelter staff themselves saying that I was there and there was no evidence of me using. The doors lock at 11:30. I'm a smoker. I come in and I pretty much turn out the lights and go to bed by midnight every night. So honestly, I'm telling you, I do not know unless it has something to do with the servicing aspect of it. I don't have access to there, and it's a couple miles
Does she
away.
want a hearing on this? Because I'm going to tell you, I'm not believing what she's telling me.
Okay.
Then we would request a hearing and we would ask Community Corrections to bring a log of their, not just the violation reports, but if she's been indicating, and she did to me that day, that they called her to Community Corrections to switch out her unit. If there was a problem, and this would have been the unit that was switched out. After this, this would have been the problem unit, is what I'm saying, is that if there was a problem with the unit. So perhaps we'd hearing where Community Corrections can bring their documentation of what they did and when, and the servicing of their units.
How much time would the people need?
I'm emailing Community Corrections right now, and time that works for the courts, I can bring one of them over. Anytime that works for the courts, I can bring one of them over for a bond violation hearing, whatever the court.
All right, I'll set it for August. I'll set the bond violation hearing as to bond in this case. Now, what I'm worried about is I issued a bench warrant without bond.
I understand, Your Honor. I informed Ms. Brown of that the same day that the court issued the warrant. I did instruct her to turn herself into the jail. I do believe that part toward the end of her letter that was directed to the court expresses that she was emotionally really grappling with coming into custody based on all of her circumstances that were outlined. I have continued to encourage her to turn herself into the jail. She was going to do so this morning, but she does not drive.
Ms. Julian, and I'll just tell you, that's part of my problem. Part of my problem is I know how you operate, Ms. Julian. You told your client, tell them what the right thing to do is, and they don't do it. And then today, or yesterday when we received the information and we understood she was going to turn herself in that morning. And so we were then trying to make sure that she was going to be on the docket at the proper time so we'd see her. So she wasn't just sitting there and she doesn't turn herself in. And my staff, we're going all around trying to figure out where she is. And then I get an excuse she doesn't have a ride here. I just don't think she's going to do what anybody asked her to do. She's just going to make her own call on all this stuff. And I appreciate the circumstance that she's in and have great sympathy regarding that, but I can't let you just go around violating what the court says you need to do.
From Judge Simpson's point of view, this whole thing is super simple. She's staying locked up until the hearing ends. Why? Because she already showed that she doesn't take her bond seriously at all. Like, first she broke the rules by drinking, and now she got caught skipping a warrant like she thought she could just ignore it and stay free. That kind of behavior is exactly what makes judges say, no way, to giving bond again. Bond is kind of like a deal. It's like, I trust you not to mess up, and you promise that you won't mess up. But if you break that deal even once, maybe you'll get another chance, maybe not, especially if you don't show up the first time when the judge sends out a warrant for you. I mean, come on. At that point, it's basically game over. Judges see this kind of thing happen all the time, and that's why they get tougher with people who keep messing up again and again. It's really not personal at all. Even if she didn't say a single word, I think the judge still would have kept her locked up. But still, this is just the system doing its job to protect itself and keep things fair. And honestly, some people only learn when things get really hard for them. That's just how people are sometimes. That's what I think. Tell me what you guys think. Should she get another bond, or did she just dig her own hole this time?
Your Honor, I do have in the next week before the first medical alcohol treatment with another drug testing per bond order. And I also have general therapy with my counselor, my therapist, all of those appointments, as well as some medical appointments that are all before the 1st of August. I have not left the state, and I was here this morning. I was not able to get here to turn myself in, but I was here for this hearing, and I can assure you I'll be here on the 1st. I really need to make these appointments.
You shouldn't have had to go through whatever. And like I said, it's not like you didn't get the information from your attorney. You didn't get that. I'm reading everything she's sending me. She's doing a yeoman's job trying to represent you and do that. You're just not following through.
I do not have a license, and I'm really sorry that I was not able to turn myself in. I apologize for that. Thank you.
Did you call your attorney and say you couldn't make it?
No, I wasn't sure yet, but I.
See, and that's what I'm talking about. I mean, Miss Julian makes a representation to us that this is what you're going to do. This is everything. And then the person that's defending you and trying to make sure that the court understands everything about you, you're not even communicating with them to say this isn't going to happen. And then you're not following her instructions.
She said she'd meet me at 1:45, and I texted her at 1 o'clock and said I'd be here at 1:30 and that I would meet her at 1:45. I didn't ask her for a ride, though. You're right.
She did text me. It was after the morning. I want to say noon, that you were not able to turn yourself in this morning, and that you would be here at 1:30. So I said that to meet me here, since you were going to be meeting me here. So.
How'd you get here this time?
I had a friend of mine picked me up.
I think that what you want to do is you don't do what you don't want to do. And so you don't put the effort forth. And then everybody is sort of just misled as to what you're going to do. Well, it doesn't work that way. Because it puts a whole lot of people out. Because, like I said, we're going on Miss Julian's representation of what she instructed you to do and what you said you were going to do. And you didn't do it. And then everybody's looking around. We don't even know where you are or that you're going to show up at this time. You don't get to make those choices. So at this time, Miss Julian, you can file a motion regarding her additional appointments and other things that she may have to do. But at this time, defendant's bond is revoked, defendant's remand.
Mr. Your Honor, thank you. In the meantime, for the record, we are trying to see if we can resolve this case at district court level. So
okay.
Those conversations will continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you call your lawyer and tell her you couldn't come today like you were supposed to? No, I wasn't sure yet that I see, and that's exactly what I'm talking about here. Miss Julian told us this is what you were going to do. She gave us the full plan and everything. And then the person who's trying to help you in court, who's defending you and making sure the judge understands you, you didn't even talk to her to say you couldn't come. And then you didn't follow her instructions either. She said she'd meet me at 1:45 today, and I texted her at 1 o'clock saying I'd be here at 1:30 and that I'd meet her at 1:45 like she said. I didn't ask her for a ride though. You're right. She did text me. It was sometime after morning, maybe around noon, saying you couldn't turn yourself in this morning and that you'd be here at 1:30 instead. So I said okay, I'll meet you here since you're coming. So, how did you get here this time anyway? A friend of mine picked me up and brought me here. I think what's really going on is you just don't want to do the things you don't feel like doing, so you don't try hard enough to make them happen. And then everyone else gets confused about what you're actually going to do. But it doesn't work like that, because it messes things up for a lot of people. Like I said, we're going off what Miss Julian told us, what she said you were supposed to do, and what you said you were going to do. But you didn't do it. And then everyone's looking around, not even knowing where you are or if you'll show up. You don't get to make those kinds of choices. So right now, and Miss Julian, you can file a motion about her other appointments and anything else she needs to do. But for now, the defendant's bond is cancelled. The defendant stays in custody, Your Honor. Thank you. Just for the record, we're still trying to see if we can settle this case at the district court level. So those talks will keep going. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. Breaking bond rules is already bad enough, but not showing up when there's a warrant? That's pretty much the final straw. Bond is already a very thin line to walk. And when you keep breaking rules again and again, nobody feels sorry when it all falls apart. Once you show the court that you can't be trusted, it's really hard to earn that trust back again. And that's exactly what happened here. Judge Simpson gave her chance after chance, but she didn't help herself at all. She just kept making bad choices over and over. The big issue for me is that bond is built on trust and honesty. And when people treat it like it's no big deal and come to court with all these silly excuses, it messes up the whole system for everyone. But honestly, in Judge Simpson's courtroom, what I really admire is his patience. That's what stands out the most to me. And I want to know what you guys think. Who's your favorite judge? Do you watch any other judges too? Because honestly, I don't know if there's anyone better than Judge Simpson. He's super fair. Like, he'll give you one more chance if you really need it. But if you show disrespect like this lady did, then yeah, you're going to have to do some time. So yeah, I think he handled it just right. Like I said, some people only learn when things get tough. That's just how life works. It's human nature, like I said. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay tuned.